everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Mental Health Forum. When we started this Mental Health Forum, we see that, in our outside world nowadays, in particular because of COVID-19, there is so much stress, so much depression. And that's the reason that sometimes we really feel low. So we think from A1 platform we should do something which can of course give you some positivity, which can give you some sort of hope. And of course so many times in our previous programs we tried to motivate you guys that if you feel low, that's fine, no problem. There are so many phases in your life when you feel low, when you feel depressed, when you feel stressed. So that's fine. Everyone of course go through such trauma in life, some situation in life that you really feel low, but it's all right, we are here. And that's the reason that we try to bring some really wonderful guests on our show who try to give you motivation, who try to tell you that okay, if you feel depressed, how you control yourself, how you look towards the positive things in your life. And our today's topic is also about how to handle the dangerous environment. So before we talk about this, what dangerous environment we are talking about and how we are going to handle all this, let's welcome first my co-host Kim Kulin. She is Executive Director of CCHR, Citizens Commission on Human Rights. Hi Kim.
Hi Sana, how are you?
I'm fine, welcome back.
Thank you, you're looking as beautiful as ever.
Oh, thank you. We all are beautiful, Kim, and once again because you are in this show, so together we are it just promote the beauty as well.
Absolutely, and we've had some fantastic people on the show, and our guest
Yes.
tonight is
Yeah.
a fantastic person, so I'll let you introduce him.
Yeah. So our guest for tonight is a singer, a songwriter and musician, producer and a freedom fighter. He grew up in Tasmania and has been playing and performing since he was a young boy. He has long been a freedom fighter, and one of his memorable moments was sharing the stage with superstar Isaac Hayes at the Berlin Wall in support of religious freedom. As a kid, he has told drugs were cool and started using and had a terrifying experience when he lost some friends to drug-related suicide. He has a shock awakening and turned his life around and has since then been supporting human rights groups such as the Truth About Drug program and all that. So he is none other than Rob Mistro. So let's welcome him. Hi Rob,
G'day,
welcome
Sana.
to
Hi.
TV.
Thank you so
Hi.
much. Thank you for having me. G'day, Kim.
Pleasure to have you on. It's really
Yeah.
awesome.
And Rob, when I go through your bio and even when we read the story, we find there are so many ups and downs in your life. And today I'm really excited because through your inspirational story, I think there are so many people as our viewers, they can get some motivation from you.
Well, I hope so. I mean, that's why I share the story, and life is tough.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it. And drugs and alcohol can be a simple escape.
yeah. So Rob,
So having gone through that, I know that that's
yeah,
not the way to go.
yeah. So Rob, can you tell us something about yourself and what motivates you?
Well, I think I'm just really an average guy that has lived probably a very common life in the sense that my parents had their own struggles and made some bad choices that impacted the kids in a non-optimum way. And when you grow up with that sort of stuff, that sort of pain, and you look for fast solutions, you know, and my brother introduced me to drugs when I was 11. 11, like I look at 11-year-old now and it just blows my mind. And for the next 10 years, you know, they were something that was a part of my life. And when I was like 18, I started to realize it was just like a very bad thing to be doing this. And it took me a little while to get out of the scene and a few shocking moments. But so when I realized that this was very bad and that I should do something better with my life, a lot of my friends were starting down that road as well, you know. So I don't know, it always motivated me to just, those times motivated me to learn, motivated me to help people, to figure out how to help people better, and to not destroy myself and those I love.
That's great,
Wow.
Rob.
Yeah, thank you.
Rob, well done for getting yourself out of that. Like, I've got a 10-year-old grandson, and the thought of something like that happening to my grandson is sort of like, you go, oh my God. So I really admire that you actually, you know, you're able to do something and turn that around. So we asked you to be our guest today because, you know, there are a lot of people out there that are hurting, and they're in this situation where they're in lockdown, especially in Victoria where we've had our human rights and freedoms very severely suppressed. And as a human rights advocate, what do you think about this, and what words of wisdom would you give to the people who are listening to this tonight, and to help them get through this time?
Well, you know, the topic, you know, that I really wanted to share with you is the solutions for a dangerous environment, right? Because, you know, if we look at the world, there's obviously a lot of good things happening. You know, there are definitely many more good things happening in the world than there are bad things. However, one could easily come to the conclusion that that's not the case, especially if one gets one's point of view from the world from the media, and from mainstream media particularly, and because unfortunately there are some people, I wouldn't say professions, complete professions, because there's many good people in many professions, mostly good people, but there are some that make their money and keep their control by creating a dangerous environment. I don't know if that's, have you guys ever experienced that, or do you see that as a possibility?
Oh, I can definitely see that. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know that from Citizens Commission on Human Rights, you know.
Right.
So unfortunately, there are those that profit on making others paranoid or keeping others scared. You know, if you were to walk outside into your neighborhood and have a look around, you would find that there's nothing going on there that's bad.
Actually, in my neighbourhood at the moment, Rob and Sana, there's nothing going on at all.
Is it?
You know,
Right?
I dogs for a walk, and, you know, I might see the neighbour 100 yards down the road and wave to them. You know, whereas, you know, a few months ago we would be seeing everyone out on the streets. So
Yes.
it's like, totally, Rob. See exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah, I mean, because when I grew up, right, and probably the same with you guys, is we used to be on the street. I mean, I remember as a 3 or 4-year-old walking down to the shop like 5 blocks, buying butter from my mother. You know, like not 3. Would have been 4 or 5, something like that. There was no concern. The concern wasn't there. But nowadays, people are completely paranoid about their children disappearing, and though there are countries in the world. I lived in Mexico for many years. There are countries where that is definitely a problem. But for sure, the environment is nowhere near as dangerous as it appears to be. And certainly now, you know, if we look at, you know, without getting too much into the COVID situation, viruses are a natural part of life. You know, our bodies have hundreds of millions of viruses. So the fact that we somehow have been convinced that one of them is extremely so dangerous that we have to hide away. I don't know. I'm not sure that that's necessarily the right thing, but it certainly makes a dangerous environment.
Yeah.
It does make a dangerous environment because it puts that fear there, and it's that fear that people have that
Yes.
makes them, it sort of pushes them down and makes them anxious and makes them feel like depressed, and, you know, they can't do anything about it. And I think that's the thing, the dangerous environment maybe that's been created here, Rob, is that there's the feeling you can't do anything about it. So what can we do about it if we're feeling like we're our hands are tied, you know?
Yeah, understandably. Well, there's obviously a lot we can do. I mean, certainly we have to put faith in the goodness of people, certainly at government. And so we can't really do a lot about that, aside from write to our local MP and encourage valid science and investigations and things like that. They are some things we can do, but what we should focus on is getting ourselves out of our own head, if you like, you know, to be introverted, because these situations do introvert you. They introvert you into the television. They introvert you right now, obviously, into your house. But most importantly, they introvert you into your own body and make you very scared. And it can be observed that when people are introverted, they don't operate as well. So the first thing you can do is take regular walks to extrovert yourself and look around and notice the environment and notice the trees and look at the sky and look at the mountains and look at your neighborhood and observe the fact that it's actually not that bad. And just by that simple action, you will extrovert yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, so you can do that for taking a walk, or you can go for a run. The other thing you can do is, I would recommend, is stay or greatly reduce or stay away from the news.
Right.
You know, because unfortunately the news, of course, except this news, right? But any news, any news that focuses on bad news only is a liability. I mean, if you were to have a partner that was constantly giving you bad news 24/7, how would you feel?
Mm.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't feel good.
Of course, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you were to leave that, if you would get that person out of your house, you would have calm, you would have silence. And it's very much like that if you're around people that constantly give you bad news, or if you're around a news source that is just feeding you bad news, then you're not going to feel good. So one of the first things you can do to realize that the environment is not as bad as it's being made out to be is to just cut the source of bad news. You know, and it doesn't change the fact that this environment we're living in, especially in Victoria, is very challenging. You know, very, very challenging. But you will handle the stress of the environment much better if you're more extroverted and happier within yourself. So, you know, there are some fundamental things. I don't know if I covered them in enough detail, but, you know, arranging your life so the bad news is not constantly there, and going for regular walks and reading positive things, you know, watching positive inspirational stories. All of these things can give you hope. And that's what we need. We need a lot of hope in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, Rob, that like, you know, in few words you just explain how stay positive. Let's like, you know, admire the nature and all that. And Kim also told me that, you know, you do seminars or webinars on handling the dangerous environment, which are aimed at educating and helping people. So from A1 TV platform, if you can share some pointers for our viewers as well. Like, you know, you already explained, like, you know, stay positive, read books and all that. So what else you can educate them?
Yeah, well, you know, there are my webinars cover many different things. You know, I'm a Scientologist. I'm a musician primarily. I'm a producer, a songwriter, an artist, and music is obviously a great release. you know, I can highly recommend,
Yeah.
if you're in lockdown and you've always wanted to play guitar, get a guitar and start to learn, or get a piano or get a keyboard or practice, because music is an extremely therapeutic and elevating system, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, those kinds of things. So, I mean, I talk on a lot of different stuff, and obviously my goal is just to share information that has been useful for me and will be useful for the listener if, you know, if they apply it. So, you know, there are some fundamental steps. Like I said, you know, don't read the newspaper, don't watch the news. Like, try it for 2 weeks. And I know I tried to do this with my dad, and it was very difficult for him because fear is a very powerful mechanism. And if you agree to stay in a state of fear, then you will live in a state of uncertainty. And nobody likes being uncertain. So when a person is uncertain, they search for any certainty. And this is a very important and very dangerous thing, actually, because it makes one liable to pull in, you know, to take anything as the solution to the fear. And that can keep someone in fear. So firstly, it's a very good idea to recognize that if you're in fear, and to be able to look at that and go, oh my God, I'm scared to go outside. Okay, good. So look at the source of what is that fear. And if the source is a friend, or if the source is the media, then just try for a week or two to not talk to that person, not have a conversation, whether it be a one-way conversation with your television, you know, where it's just the television to you or the newspaper to you, or a person. And just try to take some space and let your mind calm down. After a couple of days, you'll find you'll have less fear. And then during that time, take regular walks. Like I said, take regular walks and look at the environment and notice what's actually in the environment. And you will see that there is no gangs, people are not dying everywhere. People are not sick everywhere, you know, and just notice these things. Do you follow?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, these little things, because you want to get yourself out of a state of fear, because that is unfortunately the control that's being pushed into us, and it creates a very unhealthy state of mind, and that's all it does, you know. And when people are in fear, they do irrational things. They do irrational things to themselves and to other people, and hence through the COVID, probably one of the greatest damaging things is the suicides and the abuse that is going on. You know, this is way worse than people dying from COVID, of course.
Yeah.
You know, we've had 350 something deaths in our country, yet the suicides and the abuse and teenagers cutting themselves and things like this is really a massive problem. So, you know, we have to have a revolution of positivity and revolution of extroversion, of talking to our neighbors, even if it's, of course, social distancing, right? But still talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, get out, find the people you love, connect with the people you love, talk about good things, create, you know, good plans for the future. All of these things will make you feel better and come out of fear.
Yes.
Awesome.
And these small things matters a lot, because of course this way we try to look around the positive things which has happened all around us. So thanks for sharing all this with us, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally welcome. You know, there are many secrets in the world, but the most basic secret that I've learned from Ron Hubbard's work is you get in life what you make important in your mind, to paraphrase, right? In other words, the things that you make important will become real.
Wow.
So if you make your negativity important, or your disabilities important, or the things you can't do important, then they will be more important than all the good things you can do, all of your abilities, all the love that you can express, and all the fun that you can have.
Yeah.
You know, and children are the best example of this, because you can look at the average child, and generally they're able to create magic in a 4x4 space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they have their imagination and they're not limited. They make anything they want. And so as adults, we tend to become a bit serious, and we buy into this danger and this fear, and we get, and we start to lose, and we've got to undo that.
Yes.
Good advice, Rob.
Yeah.
Very good advice.
Oh, I mean, it's very basic, of course, but the basic truths are what they are. They work.
I don't think we can hear things like that too often. Sana and I have had on our show, a lot of really good people who have come on and talked to us about alternatives and solutions. And, we always try to keep to the positive aspect while we're doing it. We're always educating people on what's really going on out there so that they can be aware of the pitfalls. Like, for example, last week we did a show on the link between antidepressants and suicide. So we just wanted people to be aware that it is a problem, but also that that's not the first action for them to take. If they're feeling depressed or anxious in these times, then mostly a lot of that would be a normal everyday reaction that they could be feeling. So I think what you've said with your solution on, instead of feeling, oh my gosh, I'm really bad and I'm feeling really sad and depressed and I don't know what to do and I think I'll go and take some antidepressants, I could step back from yourself and go, oh, maybe I'll just go out, force myself to go out and take a walk around the block and just keep on walking and looking at things until I start to brighten up a little bit more. What do you think, Sana?
Yes. Yeah. I totally agree, and I would like that before this, when we are talking with Rob, he just touched this topic of suicide. That when people feel low, they start thinking about doing something really bad to themselves, and that is suicide and all that. So we just want Rob, if you can put some light on it. That if you feel really low, you already explained really well. Go out. Admire the nature, even listen music. You are a great musician, so we can hear your beautiful music as well. So what else you suggest to people who really are very negative and they think that there is no hope left for their life?
Yeah, I mean, I have great empathy because I've been in very low places in the past, especially drugs. Unfortunately, look, the big trap, there's no doubt that sometimes drugs have short-term use, but unfortunately the long-term use is the problem, and that's why the side effects of these drugs is labeled as, most of them, as suicide. So you see right there's a problem, right? Going out and taking a walk doesn't have a side effect of suicide. Writing music and listening to music doesn't have a side effect of suicide. Exercise doesn't have a side effect of suicide. So, you have to, it's as challenging as it is, you have to be able to pull yourself up out of your own bootstraps, or connect with people that are therapeutic for you, people that lift you up. Ignore the ones that put you down. Like, this is very important. This is just because if I look at when I was in my worst in life, it was because I was around very destructive people, and I allowed them close to my heart, close to me, and I had to, once I eventually cut ties with them, wow, I suddenly saw life completely differently. And so that's really the best advice I could give, is connect with the people, that you love and that love you. Yeah. And, don't look for a quick fix, because there is no such thing as a quick fix to life. And suicide is not a solution. It's not, because it creates pain for others. It can appear like a temporary solution for you, but it creates so much pain around, We have to inject hope, and that's why we got to talk. We have to communicate with our friends, and even when we feel like it, we don't feel like it. You know, we've just got to force ourselves to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Rob. I think the things which you share with us today is really very inspiring for me and for our viewers as well, because as Kim mentioned, even though they are small things, but the way you tell us and the way you told the story and all that, I think that motivates other, that okay, if we do small things or make few changes, this does have an impact on our life. So thanks a lot for sharing this sort of positivity with me, with Kim, and of course with all the viewers. So thanks for your time once again, and thanks
My
to
pleasure.
thanks to you, Kim. Thanks for your time. And
My
in the
pleasure.
end, yeah. You want to say something, Kim?
I just wanted to thank Rob very much for coming on, and it's really great. I think
Yeah.
the little things are really important, just those tiny little steps. And if we all just put it in our mind, we're going to do these tiny little steps each day and keep them in and build them up, we're going to strengthen ourselves and we'll come through much stronger people.
Yes.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what we need to do.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'd like to thank you, Sana, for doing what you're doing, because what you and Samir are doing and A1 Media TV are doing is bringing, some community news to people, and it's giving them some hope and giving them solutions, and we're getting some fantastic results from this. So let's keep doing it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
It's a teamwork. We all are doing it.
We are.
Thank you,
Okay.
Sana. Yeah, this is so positive. Imagine if mainstream television had simple shows like this, the world would change overnight.
Yeah.
It
So
would.
unfortunately they don't right now. So let's keep the snowball going and share our positivity and help each other come up.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. And that is the message which we are trying to convey through this platform, that still hope is there, still positivity is there.
Yeah.
It's just the way you look towards your life and towards what is going around you. So just stay positive, stay home and stay safe. Till then, keep watching and keep supporting A1 TV. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.